The brushes are down, the paint has dried, and this series is complete. But these paintings aren't just finished, they're full of meaning and of learning for me. In this final video, I'm unveiling the full series and reflecting on the ups and the downs of the process and where the art goes from here. Welcome to my studio. I'm Julie Marriott. In the last couple of videos, I have been sharing my creation process for this series of paintings I've been making for the Campbell Collective Gallery. And if you haven't gotten a chance to catch up on those, I'll link them above so that you can get the full picture of what I've been thinking and doing and the whole process for this series. But in this video, I'm really excited to share with you the finished paintings. So I thought I would do kind of a page through and show you all of them on my desk here, and then we can talk about kind of the final steps of this series and how it all came together in the end. Okay, so let's talk about the paintings. How did we get here from where we were in the last video when things were just very hazy, very brushy? What were some of those steps? In this series, I've been really embracing the imperfection, the softness of brush strokes, and trying not to be too tight or too in control. And just trying to kind of be intuitive with how I'm painting. So after those initial layers were laid down, I went to town with scraping color onto the paintings with my Catalyst wedge tool. It's the silicone scraping tool. And I use that in the earlier stages of the background of the painting. But I really love once I have initial layers of color and kind of defined, where the elements are, what their base color is going to be, I'll come in with some different fluid paint and just scrape it over and really add chaos. That's the way I think about it. It's adding these layers that I don't really know what's going to happen. I can control it at some level, but other times, it just comes off and it is what it is. And I try to scrape, kind of quickly, allowing the ridges of the gesso that's under the painting to really pop out and allow there to be these interesting sweeping overarching layers to it. So I'll show you in this painting, in this area here, there is a lot of chaos that I just left. So I'll scrape on multiple layers, some opaque, some transparent. I'll share with you my two favorite colors for scraping on just for fun. You do not have to use these colors in your paintings, but these are my personal favorites. I love scraping on Golden's green gold fluid acrylic. This color just, on my color palettes, just works for me. It adds this crazy zingy kind of a intensity. So I'll show you, like here in this painting, this intense green that's just sort of threaded through the piece. This is the green gold that I scraped on. And I just scraped and scraped and scraped and tried to add, you know, layers of this. And it really just changes and intensifies the colors that it's on top of. Sometimes I go overboard with it, I think. It like kind of takes over the painting and then I pull the painting back because this is just a crazy intense color. You can kind of see what it looks like painted on top of white up there. So I'll scrape on that color. And then also I have come to love Titan Green Pale. So this is another golden fluid acrylic. And it's kind of the opposite of this one. It is just a really soft, muted gray green with like, in the right context, it kind of has a blue side to it. I really love scraping on this opaque color because it just sort of adds this interesting haze that I think is really lovely and just sort of this distressed feeling. Like I said, I have been exploring this idea of distressed surfaces, this sort of surface quality in my paintings for a while. And I love things in my life that have a distressed surface, like a cool antique table or an old aged terracotta pot or interesting, you know, wood items or ceramic items that just have this cool age and patina to them. And so that's what I'm trying to kind of pull out in my paintings. So when I scrape on these layers, it just kind of adds that haziness and distress that I love. It just like hits the mark for me. And as I was working on this, I had some moments where I was thinking, is this too weird? Like, does somebody want a hazy painting? Would people like this? And I started trying to just picking apart what I like based on what, you know, will it appeal to other people? And I just wanted to encourage you with the fact that I still struggle with this, and I think this is just a common struggle of artists. What's unique about us and about our taste is often the thing that we feel kind of uncomfortable about because it's unique to us and we don't see people around us doing that all that much. And so it can make us pause and say, I don't know if I want to share this with people. I don't know if people will want to buy this. I don't know if people will want this in their home or want to look at it. But often it's those unique things about us and that really draws us to our work and keeps us going, that helps us stand out and that connects with people. So I just wanted to encourage you with that because I was still questioning those things as I was making these paintings. But like having this kind of haziness and distressed surface in my paintings really excites me. I love making it. I love looking at it. So I keep going with it. So back to the process, I scraped on these two colors. And at that point, the paintings were really like kind of lost. And the way that I think about it in my mind is that like I kind of have to excavate the paintings back from this level of like crazy lost chaos that they descend into, which I know it doesn't scare me because I know this is all part of my process now. And I have fun picking and choosing the areas that I want to pull back, that I want to bring into focus. And so I just picked areas of the flowers and of the other objects that I wanted to bring a little bit more focus to. So I'll show you in here, like obviously the flowers here have more definition. Let's see. Then like these leaves I left very hazy because I loved the looseness and the kind of like you can tell that they're leaves, but they're obviously really hazy and out of focus. I love leaving moments like that in the painting and like areas of just swooping and swooshing color and then bringing a little bit of focus back to the flowers. I think every painting I kind of found its own balance in this whole series where they all feel interconnected, but they have different levels of clarity in different areas. One thing that brought me a lot of joy to paint in these paintings are the vases, the blue and white vases. And it was a fun and unique challenge to paint something that's white, but to try to give it character and not have it feel stark. And I think what really helped with that was the fact that I did scrape on those colored layers. So you can see in this painting, the white vase has a bunch of color in it. What I ended up doing was I re-emphasized the white in some areas, but then I left those scraped on colors in other areas. And I just really love how it reads as a white vase, but it is so full of color and texture still. So that's something that was really satisfying to me to kind of figure out as I painted along. One of the challenges that I ran into in this series was trying to figure out what made for a pleasing still life arrangement, and then how to use the space, like the space for the objects that are down low, like on the tabletop. So my original plan was to leave the background kind of as this continuous space where it goes down and then it just blends seamlessly into the tabletop. And in some of the paintings, it worked. Like it just worked with the amount of space that was below the vase, how I arranged the objects. Like this one, I felt like it really worked. And I also really loved the color of the background and how it looked with these objects here. But in other ones of the paintings, it just did not work. It looked unbalanced to have this really lots of visual weight up at the top of the painting, and then all this sort of empty table space is what I'm calling it down below, but there not to be an actual table there. It was really, it was challenging to me, and I would put the painting up and take a step back, and that's something I highly recommend any artist do. Put your painting up, no matter how big or small it is. Take a couple steps back, see what's working, because what's working from close up is not always what's working or not working when you stand back. So I got some distance and I was like, these ones, a couple of them were just looking so strange to me. And like the weight of the painting, it was just top heavy. That's the long and the short of it. So I ended up putting a tabletop in some of the paintings, and you can see I just kind of softly put it in. I didn't want it to be harsh. I didn't want it to be solid, where everything else in the painting is kind of has this breathing through quality where the colors are just kind of coming through each other and all of that stuff that we've been talking about. And so I just tried to make a really kind of soft, hazy color to kind of just establish, though, a different area in the painting. I'll show you another one. The very first one I added it to was this one. And I was talking to my daughter right before I did it. I said, I'm scared. I'm scared. I was scared of messing it up. I was scared of putting down colors that I couldn't get off again and just prolonging the painting through layers of mistakes. And then I was like, you know what? This painting is not working. I need to do something. So I did it, and I love how it turned out. So it's this one. Something about the nasturtiums as they were sweeping down and touching the bottom of the painting, like they're coming off the painting. Something about that and how the painting was going off the edges. It felt like the whole painting was just floating, like the vase was floating and there was all this like weird dead space. And so I put this just really hazy light color down below, and it immediately grounded the painting. It grounded the vase, it grounded the objects in a way that just some of the other paintings didn't need and some of them needed. And so that was something that was really interesting to me, kind of thinking that through, negotiating which paintings needed that table space, which ones didn't. I know in the last video, I was kind of struggling with the warmth of some of the backgrounds and how they were challenging me in my color choices for the flowers and the fruit, how I felt like it was just too much warmth going on and I didn't feel like I was working. Well, this was one of them. And I did end up cooling down the background a lot. I kind of hazily put in this green, and I feel like it really pulled the painting together and just allowed these warmer colors to really shine and to be beautiful and balance the color palette out. Another one that I felt like was having that problem is this one. And so I ended up just slightly putting in a little bit of cool green in the background. And again, this was one of the ones that needed that tabletop to really help it make sense. But yeah, that green helped just calm the really intense golden color that was going on and helped kind of pull all the colors together. I know in the first video, I talked about wanting to get some vases that I could paint from life, that I really felt connected to and loved the look of them, and not just make up completely the entire image, because a lot of my images are a collage of inspiration photos and bringing a whole bunch of things together. And so there's no like in real life element to these paintings. And so I just really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed painting the little foo dog from real life. I enjoyed painting these vases, the ship one and then this one from real life. And they helped me feel, I think, more connected to the paintings in a way like, that's mine. I still have that. You know, it's not a figment of my imagination. It's not just a made up element, which is fine. That's how I paint a lot of my paintings. But that was just an interesting thing to experience, that like, that's my actual vase in there. I get to enjoy that even after these paintings are gone their way. Another little personal thing I put in is these little pods, these purple pods. This was in a photo that I saw and felt inspired by, but I also grow this plant, and I also grow nasturtiums. So nasturtiums are in this painting here. These little guys. I grow nasturtiums, so I was like looking out the window at them as I was painting these. And I also grow this is called a purple hyacinth bean vine. It's a very obscure, I feel like, random vine, but I got seeds from my mom and I grow it. And so it's just fun to look at the painting and be like, I have held that thing in real life. And I know it and I enjoy it. And it just, yeah, it helped me feel like this fun personal connection to the paintings. The paintings I haven't talked too much about yet are my birds, and I'm really thrilled with how they turned out. I think the flowers especially, I really love because they turned out very soft and hazy. I think it's because they are pretty large in the composition, generally larger than the ones that are the bouquets in the vases. And so anyway, I felt, I think, more freedom to kind of leave more of the haziness and all of these interesting sweepy like colors and textures in them. And yeah, I really, really am happy with how they turned out. I think they're going to be beautiful hung by themselves or as a pair. So as I was painting these, I was thinking about, what am I going to name this series? And just because it's springtime and my garden is just exploding with color and everything is sprouting and blooming and doing wonderful things, I decided that the name of this collection is going to be Gifts from the Garden. And I think that's just perfect. I think that actually is a name that really encapsulates all of the work that I do. I'm really inspired by nature, the soft, charming, kind of garden side of nature, where these are things that we can collect and we can bring inside, which is what I was really trying to kind of share in these ones that have, where's one? Here, that had the little garden snips. Like, these are things that we collect from the garden and we bring them inside and we enjoy nature's beautiful gifts and the beautiful gifts of creation, even inside our homes. Okay, so where do these paintings go from here? Well, my release date with the Campbell Collective Gallery is July 24. And they will be coming out on an online release. So anyone, anywhere can purchase these paintings online on July 24. And if you follow them or follow me on Instagram, or also join our email list, you'll get the full details of when that exact timing on that day of the release will be. And then whatever doesn't sell in that initial release online will be put for sale in a in a physical shop in Greenville, South Carolina, where the Campbell Collective puts their inventory of paintings. So yeah, I'm really excited for that release coming up. Thank you so much for joining me for this series. I've really enjoyed sharing the ins and outs, beginning to end, of this painting collection. It's been a lot of fun for me. So if you enjoyed it too, then drop a comment down below and let me know what in particular you liked and what you'd like to see more of. I would love to make those videos for you. All right, I will see you next time. And until then, happy painting. Bye.